Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Nico Z. It's a French name, Nico Z. So Nico Z, that's my name. I've been called to be a revivalist. God has gifted me with the gift of miracles, signs and wonders, and He has equipped me to preach the gospel. He has called me. Today I want to explain a dream that I had. I had a dream about the end times. I had it on the 29th of January, this 2024. In this particular dream, I'm just going to explain the dream and then I'll give you the interpretation that God had revealed to me. God showed me the dream and then He gave me an interpretation. So amazing, right? God is so good. He's so kind. I remember I had just come out of a fast, a 3-day dry fast, and then about a couple of days later on the 29th I had a dream at night. I think it was in the early hours of the morning. I just know it was around that time, from like 3 to 6 a.m. around that time. That's when I had the dream. I had a dream I was at a school. It was a primary school, a small Christian school called His Church. There's a church called His Church and there's a school there. It's like a small private Christian school. I was there. And the school, there was an explosion that took place. The explosion was caused by something breaking in the foundation of the school. So an explosion took place from underground and it shook the entire school. And it was falling apart. The building was just collapsing and there was fire. And I was there with little children. Little children, we were running. There was a few of us. It was me and there were little children with me. And I was like one of them, just weird. And I was running with them to escape. There was a way of us escaping, of being saved. So we were running, we were leaving that place. The school was corrupt. As we were leaving, it was just falling apart. And there was fire. But I noticed there were these men. I couldn't recognize their faces. They were there. They were inspecting the ground. They were inspecting the school while it was collapsing. They were just there, which was strange. Somehow the debris, the rocks did not fall on them. They were there in the midst of all the chaos. And they were basically explaining and giving me an understanding. It's weird because I was watching myself running, leaving. At the same time, I was there listening and paying attention to what these inspectors, these men were saying. And they were basically saying that the reason why the foundation broke, there was a problem, an issue with the foundation, and something broke from there. I think it was some kind of pipe or something like that. The reason why that had happened was because the principal, I saw she was a female, a white female lady. The principal did not fix that issue in the foundation. I saw that there were funds. She had millions. She had a lot of money that was coming to her, a lot of riches, but she did not use that money towards fixing the foundation of the school. And because of that, it caused the explosion to take place. I saw there was a mishandling of funds. So all this information was made known to me while I was exiting, I was leaving, and I saw there were debris falling all over. The whole school was just shaking. And then I find myself and the little children, we are close to a bus that is about to take us. I noticed this little girl that was with me. She had a phone with her and she was playing a video, and on the video was a choir, a gospel choir, not the contemporary gospel, no, traditional gospel choir. They were dressed in robes and they were singing hymns. And she said, the little girl said that, wow, at least we know there's a place for us to go. There's a place for us to go. And she was pointing to that choir. Said there's a place for us to go. And so we ended up going into the bus. And then the dream shifted. I had a part 2. The dream shifted. This time I see a large church. the church is like, it kind of reminded me of like Skoan, you know. Some of you who know Skoan, basically those mega churches, like a big church, a large church, and there was a lot of people there. They were dark, couldn't see their faces, but a large church. And my eyes focused on the pulpit, and on the pulpit I saw a man. He looked like he's from Greece. He's like a minister, a preacher. He was saying things, but my ears were not allowed to hear what he was saying. He was pacing back and forth. And I noticed he was large. He was a large man, but I noticed his bottom. He looked curvy, feminine. So he's a man. He had long hair, he had a beard, but his bottom, his waist, and his behind looked very feminine and almost like seductive. Yet he was clothed all the way through. He wore a robe, and I noticed his robe had different patterns, colors, and mixed fabrics, mixed patterns, and it was changing as he was pacing forth, back and forth. It was changing. His clothes, the mixed patterns were changing, and his clothing, the materials were also changing as he's walking back and forth. And I noticed his lower part looked very seductive and feminine like, and the robe was loose, the skirt was loose, the bottom part was loose, right? It wasn't a skirt, it was a robe. It was loose. And then the dream ended. I woke up. Obviously, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh Lord, what does this dream mean? As the day goes on, God gave me the interpretation. So basically, the interpretation is, the first part of the dream is actually the end of the age. The end of the age talks about it Jesus talks about it in the gospel, in the book of Matthew, also in Revelation, also in the book of Daniel, Isaiah, Ezekiel. These books talk about the end of the age. Thessalonians talks about the rapture of the saints. The book of Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, talks about the rapture, the end of the age. And basically, this is what we hope for as Christians, that we will be saved. Right now, we are being saved. There's a time that's coming where we will be taken to be with the Lord. And so we're escaping the wrath that is to come. So in that dream, I saw myself with little children. What does Jesus say? He says that we as children of God, we need to be like little children. Remember, he talks about it in the gospel where he says that we should be like little children. And so those children, including myself, represent the children of God. We were prepared for him, and we escaped the wrath. We escaped the destruction that is going to come upon the earth. The earth will become desolate. It will become desolate. You'll see the stars falling. The moon will be shaken. All the heavenly hosts, all the sun, everything will be shaken. There will be a great shaking that will take place. The foundations will crack open. Everything will be falling. And those who will be destroyed, who will be on the earth during that time, which will be a very difficult time, the day of the Lord, they will be screaming, "Let the mountains fall on us." It will be very, very terrible, a very terrible time. So we escaped that. And the people that were inspecting, the men that were inspecting, were actually the angels. They were the angels who were sent by God. Remember, Jesus says that he will come with his holy angels. So those were the angels. And God also revealed that woman, the principal, is actually Babylon. The system of this world. She's a woman, represents the woman, the wickedness, the system of this world. I'm not trying to say that women are wicked. I'm just saying that's what she represents. Babylon, wickedness, the system of this world, how the funds, the resources of this world is being mismanaged. There's so much wickedness, evil that's taking place on the earth, and that is what caused that eruption. It caused the whole world to be shaken. So that is what that part of the dream means. The part where the little girl showed on her phone, the choir speaks of heaven, where God is taking us. the paradise of God. You know, it explains in Revelation when all the saints and the angels will worship God. Holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. He is worthy of all praise and honor. Blessed be the one who sits on the throne of heaven, and so forth. Oh, and remember, John saw multitudes. So that is speaking of a time that is coming where God's children will go up, will be taken up with him. The bus is us being taken. A vehicle, God will take us to where he wants us to be, a place where he is. And then when the dream shifted to part 2, the second part of the dream is about the man of lawlessness, the beast. He is that man. He's like half man, half woman, satanic, and he's wearing a robe with mixed fabrics. So he's mixing in terms of doctrines. He's demonic, because in the law of God, it says that we shouldn't wear clothing with mixed fabrics. It's actually against the law. So this man is obviously evil, and the different patterns on his garments shows the different things that he will be doing, wickedness. And God did not allow me to hear the things that he was saying. He was probably uttering blasphemies, and yeah, very, very wicked. And he was in a church. This is the abomination that causes desolation. He will set himself up as a god inside the church, and the people that gathered were dark. These are people who do not believe in Jesus. They've rejected God, and they're doing evil things in the church. Okay, so that is the message that God gave me to share, the dream that he gave me, an interpretation. And I just want to encourage you to prepare yourself for Jesus, because he is coming soon. The end is near.